So you are thinking about homeschooling. You're considering this to be the best option for your family. Well, today I am going to share with you all my beginner's guide for homeschooling. Everything that you need to know and think about before starting your successful homeschooling year. So make sure to stick around and watch. Hello there, friends. Welcome back. If you are new here, I am Yessi, and we are a homeschooling family. We have two children that we homeschool, one heading into the first grade and another heading into the sixth grade, and this is going to be our third year homeschooling. The idea for this video came from reflecting back to 2 years ago when we were officially making the decision to homeschool our children and we were just getting started. There were so many questions that I had, so many things to consider and think about. And truth be told, when you are making the decision, there's so much noise and so many things coming towards you that it can feel a little bit overwhelming. And sometimes you get so distracted by everything that's coming at you that it's a little bit hard to focus on your purpose and what do you want to do in your homeschool. I have also created a homeschool beginner's checklist that you can download from the description box below. You can go ahead and grab that as soon as you're done with this video so that you can get yourself ready, your mind all wrapped up and situated for this upcoming school year. So there are 10 really important things that I think are necessary for anyone who is considering to take the plunge into a homeschooling journey to consider. And the first one being answering the question as to why is it that you would like to homeschool? Why homeschool? Simple as that. Why is this so important? It's because this will help you set the purpose, set a solid foundation, really get rooted in the purpose as to why is it that you are making this decision for your family. And the truth is that there are going to be days in your homeschooling journey where things aren't going to go as planned. Things aren't going to go as you expected them to go. So you are going to need something to really carry you through those difficult seasons in your homeschooling journey. And having a solid reason why, a solid purpose is going to do that for you. Once you are done setting your purpose and your reason why, your second step is to go and look at your state's homeschool laws. These vary greatly. Different states have different requirements for home education. Depending on where you live, your state might have more requirements than others. For example, here in Pennsylvania, we have to make sure that we provide our children with 900 hours of education or 180 days of home education. And then there are certain requirements as to subjects that have to be taught within that year. Then at the end, we need to have a portfolio and have an evaluator who is either a certified teacher or a certified psychologist, and they have to evaluate our portfolio to make sure that it does meet the standard. However, there are 3 other options that we can choose to homeschool in. We choose that particular model out of all the other options that Pennsylvania offers for home education, just because is what works better for us and it's more suitable for our family. But depending on what state you live, there are different requirements, different things that you have to do. In some states, you just have to send in a notification that you're homeschooling. In our state, for example, we have to do an affidavit or a sworn declaration with our objectives and take that and submit it into the district. So there are different requirements. It is essential that you take a look at your state's requirements because that is really going to dictate how you can structure your homeschool and what is it that you need to make sure that you meet for your home education based on the laws for your state. Once you are done looking at that, the next step really is to set a budget. And I think this is super important, especially in this day and age, because there are so many things on Pinterest, so many things that people do on Instagram, even different hauls that people post on YouTube, that is very easy to get carried away when you're looking at those resources and they just all look so great and you just want to get them all. Something that you need to know is that you don't need everything. You really don't. Especially when it comes to your first year homeschooling, you're just getting your feet wet. You don't want to overspend and overbuy and then end up with a bunch of things that you really don't use or that is not beneficial for your children. So set a budget for homeschool resources. How much is it that you are able to spend or willing to spend in resources to homeschool your children? That way you kind of give yourself a limit and there are boundaries and you kind of have something to tie you down so you don't go all crazy on Amazon and buy every resource out there, because it is so easy to do, guys. It is a rabbit hole that is very easy to climb on in and keep on going. Trust me. Step 4 is to consider homeschool curriculum. There are so many ways that you can go about how you are going to instruct your children. Choosing a homeschool curriculum might not always be the best choice for you. You might want to create your own resources, gather your own books, put it all together, curate something that is individualized, specific for your family and their interests. If that is for you and you have the time and energy and passion to do all that, go for it. However, if you are a very busy parent or you have multiple children, that might not always be the easiest scenario. In that case, something to consider is homeschool curriculum. And when it comes to homeschool curriculum, you really want to consider your objective. What is the purpose that you first set when you decided to homeschool? What was your why? You need that. That is really important. You don't want to choose a homeschool curriculum that contradicts your purpose for homeschooling. Next, choose a curriculum that fits your family's lifestyle. Is your family more of a hands-on type of family? Is your family more of a traditional education family? You want them to sit down, to have their lessons, to have their test quizzes. Are you looking for video instruction? Are you looking for something that is more literature-based? What is it that, based on what you know about your family, you think would work best for your family? Once you decide that, then you can go ahead and make the choice for curriculum. Now, when it comes to curriculum, something to keep in mind is that your children are very different. One curriculum might work amazing for one child. However, it might not work that great for a different child. So really, use your first year to kind of get yourself situated. Take advantage of free previews. If there is a curriculum that is offering a free preview, or just give it a try for free, experimented for a week, experimented for 25 hours, experimented for 10 hours, whatever it is, take advantage of those previews to test it out with your children. There is nothing worse than spending thousands of dollars on something that your kids are gonna hate and then you felt like you tossed money down the toilet. Also, when it comes to homeschool curriculum, do yourself a favor and set a budget as well. Curriculum can cost just a couple $100s, but it can cost a couple $1,000s. It's really up to what your family can afford. What is it that your family would like to spend in curriculum? Step number 5 is to inventory your time. See what time do you have available in your day. When is it that you want to homeschool your children? Is your family more of an early bird family where you guys all wake up early in the morning and that is the best time to homeschool? Is your family a family that enjoys sleeping in and you kind of want to do more homeschooling in the afternoon? Are you a working family that you might want to consider homeschooling at different parts of the days and even in the weekends? Really consider your schedules and the time that you have available and the time that you want to designate for homeschooling. Take a good inventory of your time, because sometimes we think of our days and we think that we have all this time to just do this and that, and then we realize, wait a minute, I also need to take care of this and that, and the kids have to go here and there. So really look at a typical day. Look at a typical day for your family. What time do you want to accomplish your homeschooling time? For us, we are a working homeschooling family. Therefore, we schedule our days to fit my husband's schedule, my schedule. So we homeschool in the weekends, we homeschool in the afternoons, we homeschool in the mornings. Is just blocked differently. If you are interested in seeing how is it that we homeschool and work, I do have a video sharing how to homeschool and work full time. I also have a video sharing with you guys a day in the life of how we work and homeschool our children, if you want to check those out. And I also do have a couple blog posts to guide you and help you in that area if you want to check that out as well. As you are inventorying your time, because my goodness, time does fly by so quickly, also determine responsibilities. Determine the responsibilities of you. What are you going to do? What is your spouse going to do if your spouse is also participating in the homeschooling of the children? When you see what time you each have available, you'll be able to see what pockets of time can either one of you take over certain responsibilities. And to me, that is so essential, collaborating with your spouse. You're going to hear me say that over and over again, because it's the one way how my husband and I make homeschooling possible in our home. Once you're done inventorying your time and thinking of responsibilities, step 6 is to create a schedule. And when I'm talking about schedules, I'm not talking about hour by hour, day by day, like every single minute needs to be accounted for. If that is your way of doing things and it fits your personality and your style, great. Quite frankly, that is how I love it. That is my jam. My jam is to have, from here to this, from this time to this time, we are doing this. From this time to this time, we are doing that. And in the summertime, I do the same thing. And my kids love a schedule. And like right now, we're in the summertime. The first week of summer, we really don't do a structured time and don't have a schedule. And my son was already telling me, Mom, when are you going to print out my summer schedule? Because it just works so well for us. Scheduling is a wonderful thing for our family, and it just helps us be so productive. But if you are more of a person that you just go based on what you guys are feeling that day, what you guys can fit in that day, how is the mood that day, that's fine too. However, you need to have some sort of a game plan. You cannot just fly by the seat of your pants every single day, or else you're not going to be very productive and a lot is not going to get done. And before you know it, the day is going to be over and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, what did we do today? So it is good to have some sort of an idea, a structure, a game plan in place for what you would typically like a homeschooling day to look like. If you need help with figuring out a schedule, I also have a blog post for that, and I will link it in the description below to help give you some guidance. Number 7 is to determine where is homeschooling going to take place. Is it going to be in your home? Is it going to be in somebody else's home? Is part of it going to be in your living room and some of it going to be in your dining room? Are there certain things that you guys are going to do outside? Really have kind of like an idea of where you want to homeschool. What is your homeschooling space going to be? Really what you want to do is create a home base. Where is your homeschool home base going to be? I'm not talking about a homeschooling room, because if you live in a place like I live, where our home is not super ginormous, we don't have an extra room to dedicate just for homeschooling. So for our home, here in the dining room against this wall is our homeschooling base. Does homeschooling happen here all the time? No. Homeschooling happens sometimes in the dinner table, sometimes on the couch, sometimes outside, sometimes in my in-laws' house. But if we are wondering where is the majority of our homeschool resources and items, it's here against this wall. This is going to prevent chaos. It's going to prevent resources just being scattered everywhere throughout your house, because that can happen so easily, guys. It could just consume your entire house if you let it. But if you have a home base for your homeschooling, everyone in your family knows where everything is going to be at, where to access those resources, and where to put them back. And it just gives it a more structure and a sense of direction. Step number 8 is to create an organizational system for both the kids and the parent. I want to emphasize that. Both the kids and the parents need some sort of a system, because the items that the parents use are different than the items that the kids might be using. So for our children, they each have a little bin with their names on it, and that is where their materials are at. And they also have a backpack where they would put their materials in whenever they need to go to their grandparents' house or carry their homeschooling materials somewhere that is not here in the home. That keeps everything so orderly. Then underneath those cubbies, we have a cubby for student consumables, and then we have a caddy for all the teacher keys. Also in the top, we have a container for my husband, a container for myself. This just helps us keep everything organized, especially since there's multiple hands in the pot when it comes to homeschooling. It just helps us keep everything situated, so we're not running around trying to figure out where is this manual, where is this answer key, where did the consumables go. It just works so well for us. We also organize all of the kids' consumables into one binder, and let me tell you, it is heavenly. I strongly advise you to give it a try. We organize our Abeka homeschool curriculum using the binder system. I have multiple YouTube videos sharing with you guys how to do that, but you honestly can do that with any curriculum. Any curriculum you choose. You can organize it by subject and by quarters to make your life much simpler. Once you have set up your home base, an organizational system for you, the parent, and your children, your 9th step is going to be to actually do the organizing. Organize all those resources and all those materials in the way that you have planned for. Just because you want to know where everything is at, your children would want to know where everything is at. It saves so much time. It just makes everything so much more effective and so much smoother. And the last step that I highly recommend you to do before you go full throttle into your homeschooling year, step number 10, is to test it out. I can't emphasize this enough. Give it a trial run. See how it works for your kids, because you might have this amazing plan in your head, and when you go implement it, it might not work. So I strongly advise you, before you go full throttle on a year, just test it out. Do 10 or 15 minutes over here. try this particular subject over there. Test out the rhythm of things and see what all might need tweaking before the actual homeschool year begins. That will save you so much grief and so much frustration and so much stress because you would be able to make minor tweaks on smaller proportions instead of thinking something is going to work one way, go in full throttle, and then have it all collapse and fall apart, and then the tears will come and the frustration from both you and your children will come. So for us, that is what we did. We tested our systems out. We tweaked things until we found what fit our family perfectly and has been working for the past 2 years, going on to our 3rd year. And let me tell you, I am being very, very honest when I say that us structuring our homeschooling in this manner really has helped both my husband and I. Nothing has ever gone missing. And when something does seem to be getting overwhelming, we talk about it, we come back to our system and we see what is it that we can change. We come back to our responsibilities and see what can we move around to make it less stressful, less frustrating for our family. We talk with our children. I'm constantly asking the kids, like, what did you like about this? Is there anything about this other thing that you would like to change? This year, I asked my kids, so is there anything you want to change for next year? And they were like, no. I was like, there's nothing at all that you want to change, nothing that you want to make better. They were like, no, this year was pretty normal. I liked it. And I'm like, okay, this is good. So we're keeping it like this for next year too. So make sure to go ahead and grab my beginner's guide printable from the description below. That is a free resource that you can have to help you guide and create what you would like your homeschooling to look like. If you are already a homeschooling family and there is something that you think that is highly beneficial for first-time homeschooling parents to consider, go ahead and let us know in the description below. We always love hearing from you, and it's just great when we kind of can share with one another ideas and experiences and different things that has helped us along the way. I just find that super beneficial, and I'm sure everybody does as well. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have not done so yet, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.